What's up? Let's
Questions
go.
for Coach?
Coach, the sling, what happened?
I had surgery.
Okay. Shoulder?
Shoulder surgery. Had to get some things cleaned up from last year. Happened yesterday.
Okay.
I've had 3 hours sleep since the operation.
How do you feel?
I feel good.
If you're out here, you probably feel
Well, I was
good.
watching tape this morning at 3:30 a.m. I'm not going to tell you what game I was watching. I was in the fourth quarter at 3:30 a.m. and I just couldn't go to sleep. So I just came to work.
First time the guys have put the pads on.
Second time, isn't it?
First day of full pads. What was the atmosphere out there today? As the guys,
Yeah, it's a
as you
little
said,
sluggish. They're carrying their weight. The humidity's up a little bit. Is the humidity up? Where's the weatherman? The humidity up a little bit? Was it up? They were a little sluggish today, but they went hard. We'll get better. Scrimmage Saturday.
So Tyrell Richards back at defensive line on the roster officially. Where is he in kind of his
He's going to
versatility?
be a utility guy. He's got a lot of flexibility. He's got a lot of athletic ability. We're going to line him up where we need him. Not trying to be. I'm just telling you, he's going to be one of those guys that you're going to ask the question a lot to. So you might as well answer it. He's going to play a lot of positions.
Do you see that as inside linebacker as well? Just because I know he's gotten some
I think
time there.
he's fast enough to be an inside linebacker. He's quick enough to be a defensive end. He can play a lot of positions. We might even be able to play a safety, but we won't put him back there.
Sure.
He's very athletic.
The fact that you don't have a ton of experience returning to the linebacker core, does that kind of excite you, knowing that you can kind of mold these guys this year?
You know, it is. It's going to be one of those years where I know we got Armies and upperclassmen Lakeem, but I think we're going to play enough guys that next year we won't be talking about retraining linebackers again. What is this, the third year? I can't keep track. It seems like we're always putting new guys in there. But after this year, we should have some depth built to that position we shouldn't be talking about.
Is that plan to play more guys a product of who you have on roster, or something you learned from the last 2 years of not really rotating?
Nope, has nothing to do with that. We're going to play the best guys. If those bottom guys don't play really well, they won't play.
So you have better depth this year, basically.
I think we got
saying.
more guys that we think can get on the field at that position and be productive.
Right.
If they're not productive, they won't play.
Sure.
To use the baking the cake analogy, how are the ingredients on the offensive line coming together so far?
Slow. Slow, but that's how yeast is. You got to let it rise.
What can you tell us about how Sam Heckle's doing? Any time frame for him?
Nope.
Every year is obviously different. What's different for you as a coach as you step into year 4 with this team?
I've never been with a team this long. It's kind of cool. This is kind of like when you get married in the beginning, and then all of a sudden you start get some later years in marriage. And you choose your battles. You married?
Yeah.
Oh, you get it. So I mean, it's a little bit different. They know me, I know them. The main thing is we're coaching up the young guys, the new siblings, the youngest people in the family, with the older brothers and older sisters. Got to tell them you can't do that. Mom and Dad's gonna get mad at that. That's what we're really doing out here. So we're moving along at a good pace. We just need to keep working.
Is there a difference with every player being somebody you recruited as opposed to players who were maybe here from a previous?
I haven't recruited every player on this team. There's still one more year of guys I didn't recruit, but that doesn't mean anything because they're family anyway. They've been with me longer than they've been with anyone else, so they're still family. So that really doesn't have anything to do with it. I mean, these are our guys. 105 stepsons. Let's go.
Thinking about, just mentioned sort of having the disparity, the older guys, the younger guys. Think about the defensive backer, Antoine Cordy, Skipwreck, two guys who played some of the last depth chart, sort of on the outside looking in. Talk about that room, sort of having that experience, and guys who might just being challenged by younger guys.
Those guys are not on the outside thing looking in. A depth chart is just where you line up first so we can have some organization when they come out here. You need to compete. And guys move up all the time. Kendall Coleman wasn't on a depth chart. He's been there for about 3 years now. Andre Cisco wasn't on a depth chart. It has nothing to do with it. Just so we can call for 1s, 2s, and 3s, and guys can run out there so we can evaluate them and then make sure we've got the right guys starting. Just because you start one year don't mean you start the next. There's no guarantees like that. That's what scrimmages are for.
You have a position you like Antoine at this year? Antoine Cordy?
Antoine has the ability to play a lot of positions for us. I'd imagine the position he should play is the one that gets him on the field the most for as long as he's been here. So whatever that position is going to be that gives him the best advantage is probably the one he's going to gravitate to the most.
Is he working at one to start, or is he?
He's got 3 positions. He already knows 3 positions.
I know, he knows all the positions, yeah. Fair enough.
Do you know the role of the running back has changed in football altogether over the last few
Really?
years? Yeah, because it's not just one guy. You got 3 guys who you can give the ball to. I mean, it's got to make you pretty happy knowing that you got 3 guys there with Abdul and Mo and Jarvion that could burst out a big run at any time.
We may have more than that, but that position is all about guys, how they feel in production. Sometimes a guy's a little banged up, he doesn't feel so great. Then he comes out another day, he's a lot healthy and he can do a lot more things. We think we're better at that position, but we'll see. You know, Dante Strickland is still in camp with the Cardinals. And all people did is they didn't love him enough. Oh, he's not fast enough, he's not this enough, he's not that enough. And yet he's still in the camp with the Cardinals. There's a reason, okay? He's consistently good at a lot of different things. Maybe not great at one thing, but consistently good at a lot of things. And I think that's the big thing with this football team. We need to be consistent and on occasion.
When you look at, you've had Eric as a quarterback over the last 3 years, and you said that's the first time, I've had someone for 3 years. Well, you have Tommy here. You have Tommy here under center. Do you open up more to him here early on, or is it still a learning curve early on?
It's the same thing. He's more familiar with me. He knows what he can approach me about. He knows what's going to raise my blood pressure and what's not going to raise my blood pressure. And here's the really cool thing. I know what's going to raise his blood pressure and not going to raise his blood pressure. So we communicate. It's a lot more calm when we communicate with each other, which means we can transfer information and we can both get better.
How are you looking at the backup quarterback position? I know Clayton's listed as the 2, or him and Rex competing. Do you see it going that way?
I'm not. I got to go sidebar. You know, here's the thing. When you don't have a quarterback, it's like, hey, you don't have a quarterback. Da-da-da-da-da. And everybody wants to talk about you not having a quarterback. And then as soon as you get a quarterback, everybody wants to talk about the backup quarterback. You know, my goal is to never see the backup quarterback. Because that means the starting quarterback got to play the whole year. He did really good, and you never had to play him out of the game. Now, if that happens, then you got to develop a backup quarterback just in case that happens. But if you're really doing it the right way, you never want to see that guy. I love all our quarterbacks. They're all competing, and whoever fits that second role, hopefully when they get in there, they'll do as good as the guy that was second last year did when he got in there.
Coach, you brought up Andre Cisco. How much does a productive year like he had elevate him as a leader? Do they correlate?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't, because first of all, Cisco is very mature for his age. I'm telling you, he's the closest thing to Kendall Coleman that I've ever seen, and I've never seen anything like Kendall Coleman as far as coming in, being mature at a young age, and acting that way and performing that way on the football field. Cisco is like that. Okay, he's 1B in that department. Now, whether that sophomore leadership and accolades leads to leading guys that are 2, 3, and 4. I mean, how old is Cordy? Like 30 years old, 26 years old? I mean, these guys, some of these older guys have been around a long time. So I don't really know the answer to that. I can tell you this, I think they respect it. But leadership normally comes from certain positions or guys that are a lot older, that have seen a lot more stuff. We don't want the young guys that are married leading this thing. The older guys that are married are the ones that need to be leading it, right?
2 more questions.
You know, you watch Hard Knocks on HBO?
I don't even think that's
That kind
real.
of too.
In fact, here you go. Here's a sidebar. If you go to all the Hard Knocks and watch all of them from the very first one, and then where's my analytical guys? Find out how many coaches that did Hard Knocks get fired at the end of the season. And I don't know what that number is, but I bet you it's not average. I bet you it's like, wow, that's kind of weird. That's kind of interesting. No, I don't watch that.
Last question for Coach.
You
What are you
said
trying to accomplish over these next, if it be a week and a half, with this team? As you talked about, you have the scrimmage coming up on Saturday.
We got guys making small mistakes, and if we're going to be a good football team, we got to get past those small mistakes so we can coach the bigger things. And you're like, oh, you can't be any good, so you got to pay attention to the little things. We give great attention, deadly attention to the little things, so that we can get to the bigger things. Right now, it's early. We're still in our first week, and I'm antsy to get done with some of those little things with our veteran players so that we can get to the bigger things.
Thanks, Coach.